The membrane keyboard. You've probably used one without ever thinking about it. It's the one that came bundled with the PC, sitting on office desks, school computer labs, everywhere. And the reason it's everywhere is simple. It's cheap to make, and it works. Underneath each key there's a rubber dome. You press down, the dome collapses, two layers of conductive membrane touch each other, and a signal gets sent to your computer. Let go, and the dome pops back up ready for the next press. That's it. There are no complicated parts, there's nothing to break, nothing to replace. It doesn't feel the most satisfying to type on, but honestly, it was never meant to. It was designed to be affordable enough that nobody questions buying one. And on that front, it totally delivered. Now this is where things get interesting. The mechanical keyboard. Instead of one big rubber sheet underneath everything, every single key has its own individual switch. A physical, spring-loaded mechanism. And depending on which switch you pick, the whole experience changes. Cherry MX, Gatoron, Kale, these are the big switch brands, and each one feels and sounds different. Tactile switches give you a little bump the moment the key press actually registers, so you know it went through without bottoming out. Clicky switches add a loud, satisfying click on top of that, which you'll either love or your coworkers will hate. And linear switches are just smooth all the way down. No bump, no click, nothing in the way. Mechanical keyboards are heavier, pricier, and louder than membrane. But once you've actually typed on a good one, going back to membrane feels like typing through a pillow. People who switch rarely go back. Okay, so the gaming keyboard. More features, more RGB, more of everything. You've got dedicated macro keys for custom commands, in-key rollover, so every key you press registers even when you're hammering 10 at once, and anti-ghosting, so a fast combination doesn't disappear on you mid-game. Quality gaming boards report their state to your PC at 1,000 times per second. That's a 1000 Hz polling rate, which is the real standard most pros actually use. Some brands market 8000 Hz, but research consistently shows the real-world difference over 1000 Hz is pretty marginal. There's software to remap every key, set macros, and to tune the lighting zone by zone. Some have little OLED screens, some come with wrist rests, and all of them glow, because of course they do. The gaming keyboard isn't trying to be subtle, it's a statement. It tells you before you even sit down who's using the desk. The wireless keyboard. And look, for most people the cable was never really the problem. But for the people it bothers, like me, it bothers them constantly. The good news is that wireless keyboards are actually really good now. You've got Bluetooth for switching between multiple devices, so you can go from your laptop to your tablet with just a button tap. And then there's the 2.4 GHz dongle connection, for when you actually need near zero latency. Battery life on most decent ones now lasts months. The desk gets cleaner, the performance is there, and the reasons to not go wireless are getting harder to justify. Some people still won't trust it. Those are probably the same people with cable management situations they've been meaning to sort out. The split keyboard looks a bit strange at first. Two separate halves, no connection between them. You just place them wherever your arms naturally fall and type. A normal keyboard forces both of your hands to meet in the middle, which means your wrists are slightly twisted inward all day, every day. Do that for thousands of hours, and it starts to cause real problems. Repetitive strain injuries, carpal tunnel, that's where a lot of it comes from. A split keyboard just removes that compromise. Each hand types in the position it actually wants to be in. The learning curve is real though. Some people take a couple weeks to rewire their muscle memory. But the people who stick with it, they pretty much never go back to a regular keyboard. The laptop keyboard. Nobody chose this one, it just came with the computer. Key travel is super shallow, sometimes less than a millimeter, and the feedback is almost nothing. The keys are crammed close together because everything has to fit inside a chassis that's already doing 100 other things. The laptop keyboard is essentially a long list of engineering trade-offs stuffed into a thin slab. The fact that it holds up for years of daily use is honestly the impressive part. The Typewriter is basically nostalgia you can type on. These are the keyboards built to look, and sometimes sound, like the old machines that filled offices before computers existed. Round keycaps, visible stems, and this deep satisfying thunk on every key press that just feels deliberately old school. Some of them actually use vintage typewriter components. Most are just regular mechanical keyboards with a retro aesthetic on top. Are they practical? Not really. They're loud, they're heavy, and they're not really the fastest thing to type on. But practical isn't the point. There's a personality to them that most keyboards don't have. And honestly, that's exactly why people buy them. The folding keyboard. It's the same layout as a full keyboard, but the whole thing is made from soft, flexible silicone. You can roll it up, fold it, stuff it in a bag, and unroll it wherever you land. It's designed for people who are constantly moving and still need a proper keyboard. Not a laptop keyboard, not tapping on a phone screen, an actual full-size keyboard they can take anywhere. Because it's sealed silicone all the way through, it's completely waterproof. You can spill something on it and easily rinse it off. You can use it in a kitchen, a workshop, anywhere that would destroy a regular keyboard. Now, the typing experience isn't great, as you would imagine. Silicone is soft and squishy. And there's no tactile feedback. But that's not really the point. The folding keyboard isn't trying to replace your desk setup. It's trying to make sure you always have a keyboard no matter where you are. And finally, the virtual keyboard. There are no physical keys, no switches, and no desk space taken up at all. A small device projects a full keyboard layout onto any flat surface using a laser. Then, a sensor tracks where your fingers land. You tap the light, and it registers the key. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi film, but honestly, the experience isn't so great. There's zero tactile feedback, just your fingertips hitting a hard table over and over while the sensor tries to keep up. So while it does exist, and it does technically work, you'll really only see it at tech conferences and in product launch videos.